All right, so we are now live. What's going on, Facebook? What's going on, Unleash CEOs? Coming at you all live today for a pretty massive live training that I just prepared for you all on the topic of really diving deep into Messenger, the foundations behind it, a few key principles to keep in mind, and really helping you guys narrow your focus to the small number of activities that lead to the biggest results itself. Along with that, we're going to be also diving into a few conversations that have been submitted for us to audit. As you guys may have seen, I put out a couple posts this week and a few weeks back planning to do a live audit session for you guys on Messenger combos. And we have a few of those to break down today as well. So I'll be keeping the names on those private for privacy purposes, but know that that's coming here towards the end of the training. So be sure to stick around to the end so you can check those out as well, because that's going to be a big piece of this training, so you can kind of see kind of my thought process behind conversations, things to look out for, what to avoid, and what to do more of. So with all that aside, those of you hopping on and joining me live here, drop a hashtag live below and let me know. Show me some love in the comments so others in the group can benefit from this. And those joining me on the replay, drop a hashtag replay below and let me know. For those of you that have not heard, our post to close workshop is opening doors here very, very soon. We're going to be opening it to a select number of spots. Registration has been closed for the last month as we've been working on updates and rolling out the new updated 2.0 version of it itself. So I'm going to be sharing more on this later in the training as well, but I highly suggest that those of you that have not joined the waitlist yet, be sure to do so you're the first to find out when these spots open up. Because again, we have over 50 on the waitlist right now as we stand, and there's only going to be a select number of spots available opening up when registration does open. So if you want the chance to secure one of those spots, the people on the wait list are going to be the first to know. Those are the VIP waitlist members. They're going to be the first to know when things open up and when they have the opportunity to join and what's all included with the new 2.0 version itself. One of those elements being the Messenger replies cheat sheet that I shared with you yesterday. That's just one bonus element included in addition to over $1,000 worth of other relevant bonuses that aren't just fluff bonuses, but bonuses that will actually give you a six-figure Messenger toolkit. Because that's really what I want to provide you guys with, not only today in this training, but just in general. Arming you with the tools needed to be successful in your online business, to scale to consistent 10K, 15K months and beyond, and really helping you narrow your focus so you're able to simplify your daily method of operation towards the few activities that lead to the greatest results. And that's what we're going to dive into here today. So with all that said, I'm going to share my screen now with a few more hopping on here. I'll do my best to keep an eye on the comments, but being that this is kind of an organized live training, I want to make sure that I'm staying on point and on target and not going too long here, because I know my time is valuable as well as yours. So I'm going to try to keep things below 25 minutes here for you guys. And if I happen to miss any questions, comments, anything on this live itself, I will be circling back after the live to get back to each and every one of you on those as well. So with all that said, I'm going to share my screen now. We're going to dive right into things. So I'm going to start kind of very high level from the top, talking about really the focus itself, even diving into kind of like the foundation of the funnel overall. Now, some of you may have seen this training before, where I've talked about this before, and I think this really just helps simplify the focus towards the high level things that we need to put our focus on right now, especially for those of you that are below 10K right now itself. So if you're below 10K, I know that for me early on, there's a lot of distractions in getting to that point. I really wanted to hit 10K early on last year, but the reason I wasn't able to hit it in the manner of time that I wanted to prior to last year itself, after spending 4 years of really not seeing much traction and jumping from one thing to the next, was because I was trying to do too much. And it wasn't until I really paused early last year and said, you know what, I'm going to go all in on this one thing. I'm going to narrow my focus to the few activities that I know are going to make the biggest difference based on my experience. And I'm going to master those. And in turn, that allowed me to hit my first 10K month within 4 months after starting from scratch, to scale to six figures within 12 months, and to now build a multiple six-figure business within 20 months after that point itself. So what we're talking about today is really the foundation behind what allows me and my team to hit consistent 50K months and beyond. And the cool part is, especially with this post-to-close workshop that I mentioned early on, we're using these same strategies to this date to bring in 50K months organically, 50K plus months organically. Now, some of you may hear that and say, Blake's at this level, how can this stuff work for me if I'm at 1K or 2K? And that's the reason that I find this so powerful. Because not only does this work super well for those at 0, 1K, 2K, working to get to 5K and 10K, but the real reason that it's so powerful is because it's predictable and because it's scalable. And because it allows you to continue to unleash new levels of growth in your business through these strategies itself. So we're going to dive into that here shortly, but let's focus on this high level map here first and talk a little bit about this as we get into things. So when it comes to getting to your first 10K month and getting to consistent 10K months and 15K months, there's really only 3 things that you need to focus on. Number 1, content. Number 2, conversations. And number 3, enrolling clients and over-delivering for your clients itself. If you can shift your focus towards these 3 things and strip away the rest and master these 3 things correctly, you will win. You will hit 10K months, you will hit 15K months, and you'll continue to grow. Now, when it comes to these components itself, the reason content is so important because this is the foundation to all of it. This is what allows our audience members, as we're growing our audience and bringing people into our funnel. For those of you using Facebook, as you add friends and bring friends into your friends list, this is people entering into your funnel itself. So when people enter your funnel, we need to take them from being unfamiliar with us to getting them familiar with us and actually nurturing them. We do this and we build a presence and we start to build authority through our content itself. This is what builds that foundational trust. This is what allows us to have easier conversations, and this is what allows us to enroll more clients. Now, as we start getting a list of people that enjoy seeing our stuff, that follow along with our content, that rave about what we do, now it's time to really convert those people into a conversation where we can then chat with them and convert them into a sales opportunity itself. And the goal with this is to not do it in a pushy, salesy, sleazy way. The goal with this is to do this, and the most effective way to do this is in a genuine and authentic way. A way that we're talking to people that actually want to hear from us, that we're not jamming links down people's throat, relying on cold DMs, and in turn we're relying on a predictable system that's constantly moving people into this ecosystem of following our content, entering a conversation, and becoming a paid client itself. Master these 3 things and you will win. We're going to talk more about these components behind it. Last week, we put a big focus on content, talking about the foundations of content. I did the live training with our content coach, Todd, along with myself, breaking down really the core foundations to creating purposeful content that actually has impact on your audience members, that actually starts to attract your ideal clients and create higher impact conversations itself so you can more easily move those conversations and more effortlessly close sales. So getting into things a little bit further here, let's scroll down and talk about kind of the buyer's journey itself in the most simplest way possible. So to illustrate this for you guys, as soon as you go and add a new friend on Facebook, as soon as a new friend adds you and you accept that friend request and they enter into your organic ecosystem or your Facebook profile, this is technically a prospect that's entering the funnel. Now, at this stage, they're cold. They don't know you. They don't like you yet, they're unfamiliar with you, and they don't trust you yet. So how can we take them from cold to warm to hot? That's what we're going to be diving into today. Now, this is what a big thing I want to stress the importance on, and for those of you to think about as well is, let me know in the comments as we talk about this right now, how many conversations you feel that you're starting on a daily basis. If you had to say, how many conversations are you starting in Messenger on a daily basis for your business? Now, keep this in mind. We're going to break this down further. I want to kind of show you 2 maps between the difference between a cold outreach conversation and a warm inbound conversation. But as we just mentioned above here, as we're putting out content, this is what it's allowing us to move prospects from being cold and unfamiliar with us to starting to warm up to where we're getting their attention and earning their trust by making them aware of problems that they have, by making them aware of solutions that we can provide, and by getting them to open up their eyes towards how we can benefit them by sharing our authentic story within our content, by understanding who we're speaking to within our content. These are all really important foundational pieces that make conversations so much easier. And I think a lot of people really neglect this within the process itself. They want to make sales. They know that Messenger is the vehicle to make sales happen, but they're neglecting the foundation behind making those Messenger conversations more easily to move itself. And that comes down to content and touch points with the members of your audience. It's much like, I've used this illustration before, a door-to-door salesman. If a door-to-door salesman knocks on your door today, this afternoon, and you never got a postcard in the mail from them, you never heard from them before, and they just knocked on your door and they said, hey, nice to meet you, just wanted to come here and share with you how this product that I have, I think it would be really awesome for you to try this out. It can do this, this, and this, talking about the features and the benefits. What are you going to do as the person opening the door? More than likely, tell them no, close the door, and move on, or maybe not even open the door itself, aka not reply to them. Same goes for cold outreach. If we're skipping past the entire stage of building trust and building awareness, we're fighting an uphill battle and trying to convert that opportunity into a closed sale itself. And it's important for us to not lose sight of the big picture. When we're selling high ticket offers on Facebook and we're building an audience of people within our ideal clients and moving them through our content, having conversations, the core root of what allows someone to purchase our product, whether it be in a high ticket affiliate product, your coaching offer, whatever it is that you're selling, comes down to trust. And if that trust isn't there, those people are not going to pay out their credit card and pay you. And I think oftentimes we lose sight of this because we're so focused on the outcome and we're so focused on achieving that sale or that next step that we're losing sight of the big picture here. And when we understand this and get this system down and it starts working predictably for us and we're moving people from cold to warm to hot on demand every single day without us even having to do daily touch points to do it, not only are we creating an ecosystem that constantly moves people towards that next step and constantly fills our pipeline, but we're able to enjoy the process more because we know that we're doing it in a high impact, authentic way. We're not doing it in a pushy, salesy way. That's really the true power behind this. Not only does it allow you to align into your true self and really enjoy what you're doing when it comes to the lead gen and sales process, but it also leads to much greater results because of the fact that we're looking at it out of a different lens and we understand the fact that we are constantly moving people towards that next step and our pipeline is being filled up. So now this is taking it a step further, kind of more along the buyer's journey as well. Here we have awareness, lead generation, sales opportunity, and closed sale. So as this cold person or this new friend enters our pipeline, they're cold, they're a new friend, they're unfamiliar with us, they haven't had many touch points with us before. We are now putting them into basically the awareness stage, where this is the stage where they're being exposed to our content that is nurturing them, that's starting to earn trust with them, that's starting to make them problem aware, that's starting to make them solution aware. And then once they have that awareness itself and they're starting to become more exposed to our stuff, and that trust is being built, now as we throw out relevant hooks within our content, dropping relevant call to actions that are purposeful call to actions, putting out the right formats and types of lead gen content, now we're constantly moving people from cold in the awareness stage to warm to hot off the lead generation stage into a sales opportunity and closed sale. This is the foundation of what we focus on inside the Post to Close workshop. And this is honestly why we've been able to achieve such great results with the select few of clients that joined us in the first round in the workshop itself, because when I created this, I wanted to create something that was focused on the 80-20. The 20% of activities that lead to 80% of the results. Stripping away the fluff, stripping away the BS, and really allowing you to step into a narrowed focus, predictable system that works, that moves people towards this next step and that drives sales into your business and creates new levels of growth. So this is all we're doing. As we're bringing new friends into our audience, we're moving them from being in the awareness stage, getting them familiar with us, to then moving them into the lead generation stage where we're putting out lead gen content, we're having conversations with them, and we're creating sales opportunities and closing sales. Now, an important thing to note on this as well, I'm going to dive into next talking about cold outreach and warm inbound leads. For those of you that don't have your content dialed in fully yet, or that don't understand the framework behind content, this is something that we go over in the workshop deeply, but it's important for me to note here that early on, we don't have to fully rely on content to drive our sales opportunities. It's important for us, as we're getting this process in place, as we're making this lead gen content work for us and drive us qualified inbound leads, that we're still being proactive and planting seeds and building trust and creating opportunities along the way. And we show you how to do that as well inside the workshop, because it's not like you can go out tomorrow, put up one post, and that one post is going to drive you 10K. I've had many posts drive me $10,000 in sales, $15,000 in sales before. But the big point I want to get home here is, although this looks like a straight line, and it is a straight line, the process isn't always a clear straight line. And I think many people are sold on this in the opposite way. I've seen many other coaches out there talk about how here's my straight line messenger approach to driving leads and sales on demand within 24 hours. And as awesome as that may sound, there's going to be instances where it's not a straight line. And this is what we talked about inside that workshop, which I'm going to get into here, which is understanding where your buyer is at on the journey, knowing what you need to do next to nurture them and to create a purposeful opportunity itself that actually has them open to hearing what you have to say and actually considering it. Oftentimes we think of this just as a straight line and we lose sight of that, and in turn we end up burning opportunities daily. But I know that when you guys understand this and when you can deploy it correctly, each and every one of you right now, especially those of you that have an audience on Facebook that's 500 friends or more, you have thousands of dollars of cash sitting in your friends list, sitting in your inbox right now, ready to capitalize on. But in turn, if we're losing sight of this and losing sight of what we're talking about here shortly, we're burning opportunities daily and we're losing out on that money itself. But I want to help you capitalize on that money, cash out on this lost cash that's inside your inbox in Facebook right now, and really create high impact sales and start to impact your clients as well. So moving on to things from here. Let's talk a little bit about the cold outreach process. So I'm going to move this up slightly. Now when it comes to cold outreach, as we fan back up at the above when we talked about cold, warm, hot. Again, the reason it's called cold outreach is because these people are cold. We're reaching out to them rather than us showing intent to us. They haven't come to us with any interest yet. We're in turn prospecting, cold calling essentially, or door-to-door selling. This stuff works, but it has to be done a certain way in order for it to work. This is the process that most people go about with cold outreach itself, and many times skip past some of these stages. But I want to show you here how cold outreach is the opposite of a straight line. Because of the fact that they're cold, they're unfamiliar with us, they're unaware of us. So when we reach out to them, whatever we say in that first message already sets the stage for the relationship going forward. So if we reach out to them with a generic outreach message of, hey, so-and-so, so we're in the same marketing groups together, just wanted to connect and see how you're doing. Every single Facebook organic marketer, 90% of our Facebook organic marketers out there are saying that same message. So when we do that, we're not standing out from the crowd. We're being just like every other marketer out there, and we're creating no authority in any way. And not to say that we want to create authority by acting bigger than them and puffing our chest out to them. We want to first focus on the most important element of the cold outreach conversation, which is creating common ground and building trust. If we skip past this, nothing else will work after that, because we're essentially burning the opportunity from the start. And now when we do that, when they see our content, they're less open to it. And we can't really nurture them towards that next step itself. So it's important to be aware of, at the top of this funnel, for those of you that are relying on cold outreach right now, you have to be starting the conversations in the right way. Otherwise, we're putting ourselves in a position to fail rather than putting ourselves in a position to succeed and generate sales going forward. So if we reach out to someone on a cold outreach message, typically what we're doing is connecting with them, hopefully trying to at least build some rapport beforehand. Then from there, trying to create some leverage or move the conversation to business, and then move it into some sort of pain point or leverage point that you can use to try to provide some solution, and then either trying to present your offer or getting them on a call. Now, this is tough to do, especially within a 24-hour radius of reaching out to them on that first cold outreach message. Because the fact, like I just mentioned above, they're here. And to get them to move from here to here in less than 24 hours or in even less than 3 days of a cold outreach conversation is very, very difficult, because they have to get to know us. They have to trust us. So I encourage each of you using cold outreach right now to think about who's on the other end of the conversation. One big thing that helped me early on was looking back at my conversations, cold outreach and warm inbound leads, and asking myself, if I was the other person on the other end of the conversation, how would I react to this message that I sent? Would I feel like it was standoffish? Would I feel like I was being too pushy or too salesy? And if I say yes to those things, and I know that, hey, I need to realign this and make sure that I'm switching this messaging, so I'm focusing on first building trust, because I know that will lead to a more high impact opportunity within the conversation itself, and it will be easier for me to transition the conversation. We have to build trust. That's where it all starts. I wouldn't want any of you guys to purchase my Post to Close workshop or any product from me if you didn't trust me. That's why I have this training here now that I'm doing for you, that I took the time to prepare. That's why I put out weekly trainings in this group every single week to show you how I can help benefit you and your business in a value-driven way. Because I know that in order for you to consider purchasing anything from me, in order for me to actually be able to have the opportunity to support you and help you grow your business, you have to first trust me, to pay me money, to invest into me so I can help you. And without that trust, that doesn't happen. I'm going to get back to this in a second. But baseline illustration example here of warm inbound leads. So again, this is just more of a straight line process. It's not always a clear straight line, but it's much more of a straight line than cold outreach, because guess what? Where this conversation starts is with intent, is with trust, and is with interest. Whereas here, it does not start with any of that. This is us trying to create something. This is us trying to pull out information and find a pain point, or to pull out information that we see on the surface and try to use that to create an opportunity. This, when we have warm inbound leads coming, reaching out to us, raising their hand on our stuff, saying that we're interested, this is people showing intent and interest in what we have to offer. And each and every one of you out there can do this. Each and every one of you out there can create an ecosystem that drives this predictably. But we need to understand that in order to do this, there's components within content that needs to be aligned, and behind that, the messenger process along with it needs to synchronize together for it all to work. It doesn't have to be complicated. It's actually pretty damn simple. We just have to understand how it all ties together. Again, there's a big emphasis I put a focus on in the Post to Close workshop, is showing you from top to bottom how that prospect moves throughout the entire process, even within your profile, throughout the types of content that I teach you to put out, moving into a conversation, all from top to bottom, how it all connects so you can see the big picture and you're not just looking at one piece of the puzzle. I think oftentimes that's kind of what we feel like. We're losing sight of the big picture, and we're focused on just the outcome, and that in turn is not creating the opportunities that we want and not driving the sales that we want. So getting back to what I was mentioning here with the warm inbound leads. Much more of a straight line again, because these conversations are starting with intent, with interest, and with trust. So in turn, with this being the starting point, as we move into the conversation, it's much more easy for us to ask open-ended questions, to connect with them, to clarify where they're at, to clarify where they want to go, and to potentially prescribe solutions if the timing is right, because they're interested in what we have to offer. They're interested in what we have to say. So they're going to be more interested in actually sharing information with us, providing us with the info that we need to see if we can actually benefit them. Rather than going in the cold outreach approach and trying to jump into the doctor frame questions too early, and it feeling like to them, they can smell a pitch from a mile away. They know what's coming. And more than likely, from the moment that you send that first cold outreach message of, hey, saw we're in the same groups together, just wanted to connect, they know what's coming from that point. So now every message after that, they're closed-minded to, their answers are short, the trust isn't there, and it's an uphill battle to move it to this point. This, on the other hand, this is efficient. This is scalable. And this is actually speaking to people that want to hear from you, and it's much more effective use of your time itself. If we want to be more effective in Messenger, if we want to spend less time in Messenger and make more sales, we focus on speaking to the small select number of people that want to hear from us and that are closest to taking that next step with us, aka people that are the warmest within our list. These are the people, and these are the people that are going to create the quickest wins, opportunities, and close sales for us right now. These are the people that I know that many of you right now have within your friends list and within your inbox that are not being capitalized on, because in turn, the focus is too much up here, too much at the top of the funnel. But what I'm showing you here is how to put a little bit of a less focus on the top of the funnel itself and let your ecosystem do that work for you. Let that ecosystem move them into the warm and hot opportunities so you can focus on having conversations with these people, because these are going to be your quickest wins. These people are going to take the most time. And the unfortunate thing is, most people don't see this and most people aren't doing this. So they're focusing on messaging just these people, and they're wondering why they're having difficulties transitioning conversations. They're wondering why they're having difficulties presenting offers and closing sales, because they're focused on high level things. They're focused on the top of the process, the people that are going to take the longest time to move to that point. These people will be ready at some point in the future to consider buying from you if you play your cards right and earn their trust. But I know that for a fact, especially those of you that have been putting out content for a few months now, you have people on your friends list that are warm and that are hot. And it's up for us to find those people, pull them out of that friends list, and get them into a conversation that is much more easier for you to actually move that conversation itself to the opportunity overall. So now within this straight line process and within this non-straight line process, again, both processes, they're not always a clear driven straight line. I'm not here to sell you on the fact that plug into my straight line lead gen method that's guaranteed for every lead that comes in, it's going to be ask this, ask that, ask this, close sale. But what I can say is that when you get down the process that I teach here and within the post to close workshop, the process becomes much more of a straight line. But there's still instances within the conversation that we have to pause and be aware of so we can take some time to observe and see what we need to do to keep that line straight itself. Because oftentimes what we don't see is signals within the conversation that are telling us that the person doesn't trust us, that the person doesn't believe that we can help them, and we're neglecting those signals and still trying to present offers or still trying to ask the next question, and it's only creating more distance from them to us. It's only pulling them further away from us. But if we knew what these signals were, and we were able to observe them and be aware of them, and we knew exactly what we needed to do next to earn that trust, now things become more of a straight line. Because no matter who enters this ecosystem or who enters this process right here, once we observe, let's say we get to the point where we're connecting with them, we're asking a few questions to get some insight in their situation, and before we prescribe next steps of offering a call or presenting an offer, we're observing where we're at in the conversation with them. And if we see that the trust isn't there, that they don't believe that we can help them, or they don't believe that they have a problem that needs to be solved, then we know that we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, what can we do to either earn that trust or make sure that we're aligning that belief so they're actually open to the offer that we're about to ask them here in Messenger itself. This is what allows us to be much more effective in our Messenger overall and to have higher conversion rates, to convert more conversations into closed sales in less time. And again, this process is stupid simple when understood overall. So I don't want you guys to think that you have to be a master mind reader and understand, I need to see these small intricate details in the conversation. It has nothing to do with that. It simply has awareness in the big picture and knowing the 3 buckets to look for. And this is what I break down in the post to close workshop. What those 3 buckets are and what to do next based on if they fall in one of those 3 buckets. So I spell that out for you exactly. Now with breaking down those 2 elements, with seeing cold outreach and how it's much more of a wavy line because there's much more ground to make up because they're cold, because they're unfamiliar with us, and because they don't trust us, and how this is the more efficient way for us to operate our business, and how it's actually more enjoyable because we're speaking to people that want to hear from us and that want to connect with us. Now that we have this down, let's dive into a few conversations to take a look at some examples kind of along these lines itself. So if we look at this first conversation here, how many of you have gotten a message like this within the first message? This came into me the other day. I wanted to start with this one. This is an example of a cold outreach message by someone that is burning a bridge. That whenever I receive these, if we look back up to right here, as soon as he sends this cold outreach message, I'm not even going to be open to replying to him. He was just door-to-door salesman knocking on my door. All I want to do is close the door on him and move on. And I don't even want to see his content after this because he planted the wrong seed to start. Blake, I hope your day is going well. I see we're both interested in marketing. I know some people are very closed-minded, which limit their opportunities. But people like you and me are more open to looking at fresh marketing ideas. Because of the pandemic, I honestly have an audience of people who need my service. There's no way I can handle the overflow. I have a 2-minute presentation that has laid out all the information. Would you watch it and give me your honest opinion? Just reply yes below and I'll send you the valuable information at no cost to you. Then if you would like to chat, we can if it fits you. Would that be of interest? This guy just basically puked on me, is what he did. And I want to break this down a little bit further. So, sure, he said, Blake, I hope you're having a great day. I see we're both interested in marketing. I know some people are very closed-minded, which limit their opportunities, but people like you and me are open to looking at fresh marketing ideas. So he's trying to tell me what I am here, which already is a no-no in Messenger. The moment that we assume that someone is a certain way, even if this is in positive light, is the moment that we're already creating disconnect in the conversation. If I say it, you doubt it. If you say it, you own it. So in this instance, what I mean by that is, if he tells me that most people are open or closed-minded and I'm open-minded, I'm going to doubt that, or I'm going to push it away because he told me that. He's trying to get me to cling on to a thought of his. But if I came to him and said it, I admitted that I'm struggling with this, or I admitted that most people are dealing with this, now I own it because I'm saying it myself. Just like in a Messenger conversation, if you tell someone, based on what your profile looks like, you're struggling to generate leads, they're going to be more closed-minded to that comment because you said it. They're going to doubt it. But if they came to you and said, honestly, Blake, or honestly, whoever it is, I'm struggling to generate leads because of this, now they're owning up to it. Now we can prescribe solutions to it because they just admitted to us, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm struggling with. So the goal in the Messenger conversation is not to tell people anything, like in that instance. Selling is not telling. So we don't want to belittle people, make them feel like they're a certain way, or tell them that they think a certain way. We got to give them a voice, we got to hear them out, and we have to listen to them itself. Now, later on in this message, he said, because of this pandemic, I honestly have an abundance of people who need my service. There's no way I can handle the overflow. So if I read this, if he can't handle the overflow, but he wants to show me a video on how I can work with him, why would I want to work with someone who can't handle what I already have? Doesn't make sense to me. And then immediately in the first message, he's trying to get me to say yes to an offer. So this guy not only spewed out all this information on me in an assumptive way, he also told me that he's got a lot on his plate. And then on top of that, he put icing on the cake by asking for an offer or pitching me within the first message. All three, a major red flag, a major no-no, and this is what right here burns opportunities from the start. Now, hopefully many of you aren't doing this, but you may be doing this in a smaller scale way where it's just kind of general automated outreach that's really not planting any purposeful seeds to start the conversation. And it's not showing the person on the other end of that conversation that you actually see that they're a human being that's unique and it's not just like every other person out there. If we just give everybody the same automated outreach, we're treating people just as numbers and not as human beings, as people. And that's exactly how we don't build trust. This was another conversation that was submitted this week. I didn't get too much on this, so I'd love to have more to break things down, but I can still provide some insight on this based on what I see. So I don't know what happened before here, but have you ever looked into making money online? No, not really. Gotcha. Is it something that you'd be interested in doing? Not sure, to be honest. What is this conversation telling us here? We're trying to sell the information. We're trying to sell them on something that they don't want, that we haven't even gotten insight on whether they're open to it yet. So the moment we ask this conversation, this to me is kind of a straightforward conversation. Have you ever looked into making money online? No, not really. Now we're going into, is it something you'd be interested in learning how to do? And now we see not sure, to be honest. Now we know that, hey, let's slow down a little bit here. Because if we try to continue to creep towards making money online or how we can help to make money online, they're likely not going to be open ears to it because they haven't shown us the fact that they're actually open to hearing it. So we first need to get them to the point where they're open to hearing us and actually listening to us itself. Again, the difference between cold and warm. If this person was, I'm more than likely guaranteeing this was a cold conversation. If this was warm, we would already know that they have intent and interest going into the conversation, and we wouldn't have to fight this battle. This is a hard conversation to move and reply to. And I think this is why many times people get to this point in the conversation and say, what do I say next? How do I move it to presenting an offer from here? How do I handle this? And it's an uphill battle because we're skipping past the most important foundation part of the process. And in turn, we're focusing on people at the top of the funnel rather than people that are warm and actually want to hear from us. Let's look at this example here. So it's going to start here to the left. So based on what I see here with this conversation that was shared, it got to the point where he said, I definitely have some suggestions for you if you're open to them. This was a good message because it's not just saying, here are my suggestions and assuming and shoving it down their throat. It's first asking for permission. Hey, based on what you just said to me here, I think I can be of help. I have some suggestions. Are you open to hearing those? That is genuine. That's authentic. That's showing that you care about the person that's in the conversation. You're not assuming that they want to be shared this information just yet. That small step here in asking this question was a good job by this person because he confirmed their intent and interest, and now he has permission to share more details. So now they said, I'm open. Good sign. Have you heard of the affiliate program called Legendary Marketer? Sounds like maybe, but not sure. Tell me more. So what are we doing right here with this message? We immediately just took the opportunity of having someone that's open to hearing us and now selling the product and the information rather than focusing on what they want and the transformation. Because we didn't identify that. More than likely here, we skipped past the fact that what is it this person really wants to achieve? Where do they want to get to? What do they want to escape? What's the driver behind that itself? Now, if we just come in and drop a product name and say, have you heard about this? What benefit is that doing for us? It's just simply trying to sell them on the product itself. Now they're seeing this and now they're saying, okay, this guy's just trying to sell me another product. He's not really cared about helping me get to where I want to go. See the point I'm trying to make there? Let me know in the comments below if you relate to this. So now he said, sounds like maybe, but not sure. Tell me more. Now, here's what happened next. The great thing is about Legendary Marketer is you promote a $7 business training to start your own affiliate marketing business. Once they buy, the company upsells high-ticket training to your customers for you. The training range from $3,700 to $9,500. That's where you make commissions. Okay. Not in a good spot with this one. Now, those of you that are at this point in the conversation, don't feel bad or don't feel like, I don't want you to feel like I'm looking down on you if this is what your conversations look like. Look at this as an opportunity for you to improve. Look at this as an opportunity for you to say, you know what, I didn't see this before. Now I know here's some changes that I can start making to having more high impact conversations, to creating more sales opportunities, and to closing more sales. Because what we're doing here again is focusing just on the information, just on the product, just on the system, and not on who we are as a person and how we can help them genuinely in that manner itself, and how we can help them achieve the outcome that they want to achieve. Not only that, but this is an interesting instance because this is an affiliate marketer here, and in this message, once they buy the company upsells high-ticket training to your customers for you. The trainings range from $3,700 to $9,500. This is just, to me, scaring the dude off because he's saying, okay, I'm going to buy into the $7 thing and now I'm going to be sold a $9,500 thing. I don't want to mess with this. So he's saying, okay, and this point now, I didn't see the rest of the message here. It wasn't submitted. But you can see here, we're still trying to sell him on the information. With Legendary, they teach how to start your own affiliate marketing business, whatever was said here. This is our moment to stop and say, okay, this guy I just spewed all of this information. I just sent a paragraph. He gave me a 2-letter response. If this guy actually is an opportunity, if he's actually open to hearing me, I need to slow down here and realize that he's not on the same page with me. And it's up for me to figure out where things are falling off at, what he's unclear on, and I'm realigning the conversation and focus on number one, before continuing on with this offer and trying to get him to jump in, I need to pause and create trust. That's what this conversation is telling you here. Whenever you guys see those short, punchy, okay, sounds good, cool, that's showing that the person is like, okay, awesome, you just pitched me here, or you're just trying to sell me on this product. Now, doesn't mean that opportunity is burnt or done. There's still a chance to turn it around, but we have to know and be aware of that at the spot before continuing to shove more information down their throat, because then it will be burnt and it will be gone. Now, I was considering pulling up a conversation of mine on the slide, but I wanted to keep this fair to those that not only joined the post-close workshop on our first cohort last time around, but those of the select few that will be jumping into the select number of spots that we're opening up here soon. Because I break down not only some instances of conversations that are a little bit better than this, but still missing points of the big picture that are causing the opportunity to fall through and not convert, but also multiple conversations from my own messenger inbox itself, where I'm taking those people from top to bottom to cold to close sale and to warm to close sale. I'm showing you 2 instances and I'm putting a large emphasis on a bunch of conversations on exactly how I move it from top to bottom, from them showing interest to me asking them a series of questions, and then to me appropriately presenting the offer and closing the sale. Because I want you guys to start having an understanding of how to transition these conversations in a genuine and authentic way, without being pushy, without being salesy, and then knowing how to actually effectively present your offer so you can get more yeses, close more sales, make more impact, and grow your business itself. So with all that said, to make sure that we're staying on point with the training itself here and the time that I had allotted itself, going through these conversations, if you guys got value from these conversations today and the training as a whole today and what we've gone down so far, drop a hashtag value in the comments below. Let me know. Show me some love there. Any questions you guys have on this, let me know in the comments below so I can take some time to circle back after the live and get you guys some answers to those questions. And let me know right now, within your messenger conversations, where do you feel is the biggest sticking point? Is it moving the conversation from cold to business? Is it generating more warm inbound leads so you can have easier conversations? Is it not knowing how to present your offer? Is it not knowing what to say in certain instances? Let me know in the comments below what you feel right now is like your biggest headache or sticking point with the messenger conversation so I can help provide some insight and help clarify that for you. And aside from that, we are very, very close to the initial spots opening up on our post to close workshop. So as we close down here, for those that have not yet joined the waitlist, I highly, highly encourage you to do so. Drop a hashtag waitlist if you want to join. This is what's going down here, and this is where the opportunity is opening up very soon. You've seen me talk about the results. We brought our students that joined the first cohort of this. We closed things down, and we wanted to take what was already working really, really well from a process that generated us over $300,000 in revenue and 40K plus predictable months to sharing it actually with this first cohort of students in the beta group and seeing them plug into it and create massive clarity and also create quick fire results and sustainable results. That's the biggest thing that I was really, really happy to see overall. Not only did the first group of live attendees come in and generate their first high ticket sales in the first week and quick wins right away, but we had students go from joining to 30 days later pulling in 4 high ticket sales to 45 days later hitting their first 5K month. Because what we teach here is not just tactics and quick fixes. It's sustainable strategies that are actually predictable, controllable, and scalable. So not only can you plug into them right now to have complete clarity on leads and sales and how you can make the system work for you, but how you can continue to leverage this and use this to continue to compound and grow from 0 to 5K to 10K, 20K, and beyond, up to 40K plus months like we're doing now with this same exact system and strategy itself. So if you want to join the waitlist to be the first to know once this releases and have the opportunity to plug in this before the spots fill up, drop a hashtag waitlist below and I'll get you the link. This will be essentially, tomorrow will be the final day to join the waitlist itself, and then we're closing down the waitlist. So those that are on the VIP waitlist, again, we have over 50 now, will be the first to find out when this opens up with the first opportunity to jump into it before anybody else. So that's securing your opportunity to actually be able to plug into this if you choose to for the select number of spots that will be available before we again close down registration on this workshop itself and on Post to Close 2.0. So drop a hashtag waitlist if you would like to be on the VIP waitlist itself. And with all that said, I will close out now on this live training. And as we close out here, I want to thank each and every one of you that stuck around with me till the end and that hopped on today. Hopefully each and every one of you got value from it. Based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like that you all did. And thanks for watching. We will see you on the next one. Stay tuned for more to come on Post to Close 2.0. And in the meantime, to be the first to know and find out, be sure to comment waitlist so I can get you the link after this live and you can plug into that right away. With that said, we will close out now. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.